So to start our mousse, we have to cook the cranberries along with sugar and some orange zest, cinnamon, and there's also water and orange juice and some orange liqueur in the pot. Those recipes can be found on the Aortic Hope private group site on Facebook. And we're then going to allow this to simmer for about 15-20 minutes until the cranberries pop. And when that's done, we're going to let it cool and then puree it up to begin our mousse. So we'll come back in about 15-20 minutes. Well, our cranberry sauce is done for the mousse. As you can see, it's real nice and jammy. That's the way it should look. Everything's soft and with a nice thick liquid around it. Next thing we're going to do is move on to the puree and set it aside until our crust is done. We'll be back. So now that the cranberries are done, it's time to puree them. Simple process. Have a little food processor or a blender and just put them in there. And we're going to process until they are a puree. We do want to get all of the solids pureed up on this one. If there's some little tiny chunks, I mean, just for you, it's not that important. So I'm using my little micro mini food processor, which I just love. And we're going to puree. Now, you notice I'm increasing and decreasing speed. That is how you mix food in a food processor, making things fall from the top down to the bottom. Yep, looks beautiful. I'm going to zoom into the camera here. Just give me a... Okay, there we go. Nice and pureed. And that's it till the next step. So, for our tart, we need to have a shell. Now you can use pie crust, but I thought I'd make this one a little gluten-free and use almond flour and more like a traditional tart rather than a mousse pie. So I have the ingredients. I have almond flour, I have an egg, oil, and sugar. So simple process, much easier than making pie dough. And then we'll decide what size we want to make them. So first thing you have to do is blend your sugar and flour, almond flour. You can buy this in the store, anywhere that you wish, at whatever your grocery. They'll have it in the specialty flours section near your bakery section. Okay, so just mix the sugar in well into the flour, the almond flour, which is nothing but 100% ground almonds. So we have another health benefit to our dessert here. Almonds are a bit high in fat, so they also add calories. But the almonds do have other good nutrients for us. It's good fat. So, you know, rather than just using white flour and butter and making a rich, fatty pie crust. Okay, so we just take I have one egg. I have some light olive oil, so it's basically an olive oil blend. Mix those together. Take a second and just, so they go in at the same rate. Mix it all up. Put that into your pie crust, the flour mix. Okay, there we go. And set this to the side. I may use that in a minute. And then just take your fork and blend everything together till it becomes a little dough that will stay together when you press it between your fingers. It'll take a minute to do that. Fork works well. You could use that little whisk as well, or just use your hands. That's usually my favorite way, which I will do in just a minute in order to get the last of this all mixed together. And we're almost there. Just keep folding and pressing and mixing. Okay, good. Switch to my hands. Get this all together. I don't have to worry about overworking it like with flour, making a pie dough. If I do this too much, I get very glutinous and we get a tough pie crust. With the almond flour, it's really not as much of a problem. So now I see a minute with my hands, and now I have a dough that when I squeeze it in my hand, holds together. And that is what we want. And we're going to take this and press it into, well, a variety of things, such as we could use either a tart shell. All right, very pretty, very nice. We could use a cake pan, or smaller things, and smaller like muffin tins that I have put in some silicone liners. Okay, we can use those. Now, my original intention was to use the tart pan because I love it. It's really pretty, get a nice edge, very fancy for if you're entertaining. It looks really, really nice. So, like Mindy, who wants me to make some smaller ones because she wants to give them away. So I'm torn between two worlds here of what to do. So first thing you have to do though is spray your pans. So we'll try the small one here. Now, if you have silicone cups like I do, you do not want to spray. You never, ever spray silicone. It'll never be good again. You just might as well throw it out. Silicone is non-stick by nature, and if you add oil to it, then they get sticky and they don't work. So I've oiled the pan. We're going to put some of the dough in here, and all you're going to do is press it. And I'll show you in a little bit. We'll do a close-up and show you how to do this. But I'm just pressing around. You can use a spoon, you can use your fingers. You can see as I'm pressing it. Don't make it too thick. If it gets too thick, we don't need too much crust. Just a quarter to half an inch is all you need. So, okay, here we go. And now you can, so I just want to check the depth on that. Yep, a little bit over, about 1/4 inch. I got some more on the edges, which is fine. So we want to round it up the sides a little bit. And to do that, I'm going to leave the screen here. Grab a spoon. Look at that, I'm back. And take a spoon and just run it around the edges. And as you press, it's going to push some of the dough up the sides. Very simple. And you can use this also to level out your crust. If you get any holes, you can just take a little more dough and fill it in. Which I'm going to do a little here for this side. Because I want to have enough crust up at the sides to hold the mousse in. It should be strong enough to stay once it sets. But just in case, it's nice to have that little bottom edge that we're rounding around. And okay, so I have a nice set. Okay, looking good. All right, same process with the miniatures. We're just gonna take some of this, put it in, press it down, and press around the sides since they're fluted, and we can press those out. Make a nice little cup. You don't have to go all the way up the sides. All right, we don't need that deep. So you can try, but that's basically what we have here. Okay, I'm not going to do all of these for you on screen. I'm going to go back and start the mousse. Now we pureed the cranberry sauce, and I'm letting it cool. And I've got I'm making evaporated milk instead of whipped cream. That's in the refrigerator getting icy cold, and I'll be back in a few minutes when everything's nice and cool. See you soon. Okay, I'm back with the cranberry mousse tart. So we've cooked the cranberries, we've cooled them, pureed them, cooled them down. Now we have a nice thick cranberry gel. We've made the crust, and I baked those. I'll show you those in a minute. But the next step is we have to whip cream, fold it into the jam to lighten it up and make our mousse. So I'm not using cream, you know that's the Aortic kitchen. So I am using my favorite ingredient, evaporated milk. We're going to take evaporated milk and make sure it's ice cold. This has been in the refrigerator. The bowl's been in the refrigerator. Everything's in the fridge. And I hope I have a big enough bowl here. I may have to get a bigger one. So this is going to take a few minutes. We go. Yep, we're going to need a bigger bowl. It was 2.5 times the size of the amount, but here we go. Thank you. Just set that down.
You're welcome.
Okay. See, look at that. It's already thick. So I will, since you were on camera, would you come back, please?
I will, because as usual, I left the cabinet open.
Take that and that, please.
No problem.
All right. So I'm going to whip evaporated milk all over the floor. So we know to use a taller bowl. So I'm going to sprinkle in some sugar. There we go. I guess I'll be mopping the floor later.
I think you will, sir.
So this doesn't take too long. It will take a couple of minutes, so you can watch while I do this. And I want to get it stiff, like a stiff peak of regular whipping cream. So what's the big difference here? You know, milk doesn't have as much fat. It's the fat that whips and causes little air bubbles and makes it whip into whipped cream. The evaporated milk, since it's been evaporated, the ratio of fat to milk is higher. So it does have a few more calories, but nothing like heavy cream. Heavy cream can be about 40% butter fat. This is nowhere near that. So we'll see how we're doing. It will go. All right, and I will come back in a second when this is all done. We'll take a pause. Okay, so we've whipped our evaporated milk, and we're going to fold it into the cranberry jam, and we'll start with just some. It's kind of a soft peak. Didn't get that stiff peak, but works pretty well. So folding, remember, put your spatula in the center of the bowl, go to the outside, flip it over, and fold it in. And keep doing that. Now, in the very beginning, you can be a little more aggressive and kind of just mix them in to lighten, but you don't want to lose that air. Okay, you can see how the color has already changed to a kind of a rose color at this point. Went from that deep cranberry red. Let's do a little more. And there's plenty of gel in these cranberries to hold things together. That's the nice thing. Cranberries are full of pectin. So when you refrigerate it, they do set up and stay nice and tight. And pectin's good for you, too.
I was going to say, it's just like an apple a day. Maybe
Right.
a bowl of cranberries a day will work like an apple a day.
So when you're saying just you can count it like your apples, an apple a day, well, a bowl of cranberries a day, because it's the pectin that they're usually talking about, plus the fiber in apples, and there's fiber in these. They're very similar to apples nutritionally, actually. So, okay, doing really good here. A little more.
So, Chef, can you, at this point,
Can't hear you. Yeah.
take the heavier mix and pour it into the other bowl?
Yes, eventually I can dump this into that and then continue once it's nice and light. But I'm having such fun in this bowl, I didn't need to. But
Part of the reason we didn't get the peak as high was because we had to change to a larger bowl, and it wasn't cold.
right, everything was cold to begin with. Out there. I'm just going to keep putting the cream in here because it's looking so nice.
Would you like me to scrape the cream in while you're stirring?
No, I got it. I got it just fine. Thank you very much. Okay. Here we go. Drop that in the wash, and we'll fold the last of this in. And the folding just takes time. Be patient. Be gentle. Don't overdo it. Don't do it too hard. Don't stir. Make sure you fold. Because if you stir, you're going to break down all those little air bubbles that we want for our mousse. So,
question for you, if you use a regular mixer, like our KitchenAid or whatever brand you have, and use the paddle, does that really fold in, or will it break it down too much?
They say you can. You got to be very slow. You know, don't use it like anything over a 2 to fold in. If you go with you start beating it with the paddle instead of mixing in and folding in. So probably could do it. Hey, almost there. Almost all of my white is gone.
It's sort of pretty to have a little white streak in it.
Yeah, if you want to do that marble-ish look, that can be nice. Okay. So here we go. Lovely, beautiful pink mousse. Okay, see that? I think you can. And so what do we do now? We're going to portion it into our cups. Now I have, I baked the cups. I did both sizes. I ended up doing the little like 3-inch muffin tin with some silicone inserts, and I did the cake pan, which was the 6-inch, and those all came out very, very nice. These took about 15 minutes, the small ones. The larger cake pan took 20 minutes in a 350 oven. For the last 5 minutes of each one, I had to cover the pan with foil. Didn't even wrap it around. I just laid a piece of foil across the top because once the edges start browning, that's when you want to cover it. But the bottom, the base, still needs to be baked and finished. So took them out, let them cool. Silicone was great. We just peeled off. These are just nice little reusable silicone muffin cups. And they bend, so you just bend it over and, peel the pastry right out of it.
And don't use any spray
right,
or oil.
Right, I did have to oil the cake pan, but when you use silicone, you will ruin it if you put oil inside it. They will just no longer be nonstick. So now we're just going to fill my little tart here. I'm going to I'm not going to smooth it out. I want it kind of
Snowy
swirly,
peaks.
swirly. Okay. Now you can make more whipped cream and whipped cream it on top. You could meringue it. If you're vegan, you can make aquafaba. Use the liquid from a can of garbanzo beans and then put that in the mixer with some sugar and whip it, and you can make meringue out of that. And then you could just throw it under the broiler for 1 minute to brown it up and make a nice cranberry meringue pie. Or I'm just going to leave it like this and then garnish it up. The recipe I'm going to give you, it has some garnishes. That's not a good idea, Rob. I will need
Would you like a large spoon?
a spoon. There's one there. Because that was too big. But anyways, I was going to toast almonds because I like to let my guests kind of know what they're eating. It's like when Mindy just made the dip, the cranberry chili dip. She garnished it with a couple of chilies. And that lets people know that there's something hot in there. Okay, so this, if we garnish it with the almonds, they know, because it's an almond crust. It just gives them an idea. But I'm going to use some orange zest on this since I have some left over from earlier. You can fill these as much or as little as you wish. Quite delicious. And if you don't, I did put triple sec orange liqueur in this mix. You don't have to. I think the recipe I wrote calls for you to put it into the whipped cream as well, but I didn't. I think there was enough in the mousse. But if you don't want it, don't worry about it. Just leave it out. You can increase your orange juice a little bit. I think it was a couple of tablespoons. I mean, it's not that big a deal. It's not
Could you use, here's another idea.
Extracts.
Or orange peel, candied orange peel.
Use anything you want.
Mm-hmm.
You can use, I have some extra cranberries, which I'm going to do a little bit of garnishing. I got to get it in the refrigerator. Or if you want to grab them, they're in the.
I can do that for you.
They're in the fruit drawer, I think. There we go. Lovely little tartlets.
Would you like them washed?
They already are.
Okay. And I'll just set them there.
Yep, I washed them earlier.
Always remember to wash your fruit.
Yes, very important. All your produce needs to be washed, especially these days with all the little
If
issues
it says
we have.
triple washed, you might not want to wash it.
Yeah.
Because you're actually, well, at least when we lived in Florida, the water was so warm. If you're in where it's colder, where the water comes out cold, it's okay to do it. But when you live in a warmer climate, the water probably doesn't get below 72 degrees, and that's no longer safe water.
Right. Oh. So I can just cut these cranberries in half. And well, there's enough right there. Just cranberry on each one. Everybody knows what it is. So cute. Okay, where's the other one I cut? Oh, there it is. Oop, runaway cranberries. Okay. Put some in the center here. Okay. We need a fourth.
Well,
I think
if you put three more down, it'll look like a Christmas tree.
Oh,
the two.
Yeah, I could. But that's okay.
Okay.
So then I just have some extra orange zest here. And I will sprinkle around. And now they know there's orange flavor in here too.
When you make orange zest, if you use a small zester like we did, you still have an orange to eat when you're done.
Well, of course.
Because you're only taking out that orange part of the rind.
Of the peel, yes. We don't want any of the white, no pith. We do not want pith in our food.
That's disgusting, yeah.
It is very bitter.
Yes, it is.
Terrible. Okay, here we go. And here are the lovely cranberry mousse tartlets and a larger tart, or you could have used that big pan with and make one large one. And that one's easier because that was a real tart pan, so the bottom lifted right out, kind of, like a real tart pan does.
For the holidays, I think the small cupcake-like ones would be better if you have lots of parties.
Yeah, absolutely, for a party, this is great. Well, come on over, Mindy.
And let's pull out the dip.
Okay, I can pull out your dip, your dippity dip.
My dippity-doo dip.
There's Mindy's holiday dip. Okay, we're not going to eat it today.
No, I've got a cracker.
I want to do a taste here.
I have a little sample hanging over here.
Okay.
So you can taste it since it's melted.
There's one. I can just take it out of the
Yes, you can.
bowl easier, honey. Okay, so we got the cranberry. Now, one thing Mindy did not get into too much. When you make this, we made this very simple. Cranberries, oranges, sugar, chilies, and a little bit of cilantro. You can add anything you want, as she mentioned. Leave the cilantro out, leave the chilies out, put some onion or shallot, garlic into it. Black pepper would be really nice. This is, it can be more savory if you wish, because this is great for vegetables, for crackers. And if you leave it on the sweeter side, like it can be, it's great for fruit. Dip apples in here.
We use serranos, which are very hot. You can use jalapenos that are a little milder, because we used, what, two or one serrano? These are homegrown. And they're homegrown hot.
Yes, very good. Tasty. And if you don't like the heat at all, you can always put some bell pepper in there. Okay?
Or no pepper.
Or none whatsoever. Whatever vegetables, this is total creative. The real point of this one is the cranberries, the oranges, and the cream cheese. So, and then take it from there and add whatever you like. Okay, you want it crunchy, put some nice walnuts in there. Pecans would be really great. Okay, anyway, and here the same thing. The mousse, really just garnish it any way you want. Like I talked about, the toasted almonds, any other nuts. We have the oranges, grated orange peel. You can use other fruit or
with ginger.
Yeah, a little bit of crystallized ginger would be really nice on top too. Okay, so this is Rob Seltzer. I'm the Aortic Chef. On behalf of Aortic Hope, a 501c3 organization that provides education and support to those with aortic disease. Please, if you haven't yet, hit the like and subscribe button. That keeps our metrics good, so you'll be able to find us easy on our YouTube channel, which is youtube.com/AHTV, Aortic Hope TV. And so I want to say...
My name is Mindy Seltzer. I'm a dietitian, and also on the app, ring the bell.
Well, the bell will give you your notifications when we do post. As you know, we're posting these now. We are not doing these live. So the content has changed a little bit. But well, thank you. Have a great holiday season. We will be back probably in January, unless we do a surprise edition before the end of the month.
Never know.
Okay. So thank you for joining us, and goodbye.